What's up, Zodiac Chatline fam? It is Sunday, April the 21st, 2024. Welcome to the Zodiac Chatline. I am your host, Tanae, and Cassie shall be joining me shortly. We're gonna get Cassie so we can start this show. Okay, sorry guys, that's just what you get from me. But Taurus season is upon us, and look at that! My Taurus rising, join in. What's up, girl?
Shoot, not much. Just enjoying easing into Taurus season a few minutes late. How are you?
Girl, let's slow and steady it because we can. Okay,
That's right. I know that's right.
you know. Before we start the show, this show is going to be dedicated to the first Taurus I ever met in my life, my mama. Okay. My mother did pass away back in 1998. Yes, y'all, in the 90s. And I was young at that time. And really appreciated, as an Aquarian child, having a Taurus mother, because she gave me the grounding and stability to kind of continue to persevere through her death and grow as a person. A wonderful, wonderful person to look up to. I love my mom. I miss her a lot, but dedicating this show to her. So with that,
To Anna.
that's right, to Anna. Yeah, of course, birthday twin.
Stop.
Life wouldn't be.
Does not have a Taurus mom too.
Of course.
What?
My birthday twin, of course, has a Taurus mom. What's up, Miss Cassandra Hart? Cassie. So, saw your little doo-wop about Aries season. Girl, you all right? What was your Aries season like? I'm an Aries moon, so it was like fun, but god damn.
Yeah, that was a roller coaster. So, like, personally, you know, a lot of like road bumps, hiccups, unexpected turns of fortune type of thing. And then just broadly speaking, it was like everybody was ready to fight. Everybody was ready to fight. Everybody was beefing. It was actually kind of wild how perfectly it lined up. Like this, we couldn't have faked Aries season being so spicy.
Because they was ready. I mean, with the retrograde and the eclipse, all during Aries season, every single bit of fuckery you thought could go down, it did. And then some. And it was like, oh, that happened? Okay. And then the next day you're like, oh, wait, but what? Aries season was like, oh, I ain't done liking these matches. Matches, plural. Usually it's like you strike a match and that's like Aries energy. They lit the whole damn box. Like, you know those boxes when you're at the fireplace?
Somebody took a blowtorch and just lit up the box. Yeah.
But no, they wanted to do it one by one by one. So at the top of Aries season, we had that awful man from Bad Boy Records. His house got raided. Okay.
Yeah, guys, that was only a few weeks ago. I know it feels like 7 months ago since that creepy guy's house got raided, but it was truly only about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, that happened. I think the Nickelodeon documentary came out about that time too.
Yeah.
All of our Nick and Night, all of our childhood, because we grew up with Nick and Night as our, as our child. Nickelodeon was our child. All of that was our childhood, and we watched that. O.J. Simpson passed away, which for those of you who were not around during his trial, it was probably one of the most watched trials. His Bronco chase. I mean, just all the theories about it. There was so much, but like him passing away, and then Caitlyn Jenner getting dragged because just be quiet. Because they were. Did you hear what happened?
With respect to OJ?
Yeah.
I do remember she posted
She
something
posted something
about
like a good riddance or something, and somebody was like, "Didn't you kill somebody?" And she did. But anyway, Donald Trump's still on trial, and his jurors got selected.
Yeah, like his ass is in a seat in a courtroom. This is not not theoretical anymore. This is the first one of his criminal trials to come to, because of course we've already watched him sit through a couple civil trials. But yeah, that's also a thing that happened. Every rapper ever is beefing.
Ever.
Like, to me, the perfect encapsulation of the rap beef fuckery of Aries season is the fact that the girl JT and Young Miami both started and squashed beef on the day of the Aries solar eclipse. I was like, that is exactly the energy. It's just and then nothing.
Yeah, but
like
that's Aquarius and Sag. They're like, is it that deep? No. But then earlier we had the Kendrick Lamar J. Cole beef, which was also squashed because J. Cole, again, another Aquarius with a Gemini. Aquarius is like, bro, it ain't even.
You know what? My bad.
Never mind. Forget it. You're right. I'm with that light skin fool. I need to be quiet. But the beef that ain't getting squashed, I'm telling you, it's not getting squashed because Chris Brown is a Taurus and Quavo is an Aries. Squashing what beef?
Oh, yeah.
So Chris Brown's not even a rapper, but still won a rap beef.
And
so
Chris Brown is committed to being an asshole. He is just dug that. He really has put that flag down, and he's sticking with it.
J. Cole is an Aquarius. Chris Brown is a Taurus. And of course, Quavo is an Aries. And you know, yo, Cancer girl, Sweetie even caught some strays in that thing.
I know.
I was like, dang, girl, leave
poor
her
Sweetie, but also
listen,
Cancers
be cancering,
bitches.
Cancers be cancering. We know, and I love y'all. You know, I get it. It's fine. You know, Cancer rising over here.
Yeah,
I get it. But dang, Chris. But you know what? I'm gonna say this about Chris Brown. That is a talented motherfucker right there. Yeah. He is super talented, and you know, just leave him alone. Honestly, at the end of the day, leave him alone. He's just let him be talented. If you don't agree with how he operates, that's fine. But y'all don't go be making rap songs about somebody that can sing, dance, and rap. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But let's talk about there's actually a couple more things, right?
Sure.
So the TikTok ban is looming.
Yeah, it might still be happening.
And then both Florida and Arizona upheld their abortion laws. So again, this is all Aries season, y'all. This is all still Aries season. And then Iran and Israel reignited that beef. So yeah, Aries season didn't come to play with nobody. Okay. Came to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
But that's why we told y'all
retrograde in Aries, those eclipses in Aries.
And what we tell y'all, we said, y'all better chill out. Because everything around you was wild. Oh my God. And if your life was wild, listen, honey, we prayed for you. We did pray for you. Yeah. But we can talk about all the good shit, right?
Let's do that. Let's dive into the Aries season highlights. And there were a few.
Yes. The first highlight is what, Cassie? Tell them. Say it.
It's Cowboy Carter. It's Cowboy Carter, you guys. Firstly, actually matches up with the Aries theme of fuck it, I'm gonna light up everything on fire, because Beyonce's lit the country music world on fire, because that just unbelievably great record. It is solidly country, but in a way that pushes the edge of that genre in every possible direction and brings in elements of other genres and ones that have both already been influenced by country and draw from it. Like, it's so fucking good. It's so good. It's crazy how good it is.
It highlights Black country artists that you would never know. The women that were on Blackbird and Shabuzi and I think Willie Jones were also on those. And you had Willie Nelson and the motherfucking Dolly Parton on multiple tracks. and the Linda Martell. And it gave history and all of the interesting opinions that I've seen on the album. As a person, and I'm not going to claim I'm from the Beehive, I just appreciate really good music. That album is just a wonderfully put together masterpiece. Whether you can hear the ballads that she performs, the operatic nature of Daughters, we were just talking about this earlier, the rap game, because what? Okay, that's all I have to say. If you haven't heard Spaghetti, you're just late. And just all the other, like Cassie said, the genres that have just evolved from this. This is just a well put together album. And Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter, girl, we thank you for that.
Yeah.
We do. We thank you for that. And I'ma still be jamming to that and slide on in the Renaissance after I'm done with listening to Cowboy Carter. It's like a repeat thing. But Cowboy Carter, and shout out to Miley Cyrus, because girl, you killed that duet. Because that was a real country duet right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Like we could spend this whole show talking about how good of an album was, but to your point about it being a masterpiece, it is an album. It's actually like, because I had, my broke ass does not pay for any streaming music, so I had all the tracks added to a Spotify playlist, but listening to them out of order, right? So last night I found a YouTube playlist that had them in the right order, and I listened to the whole thing, and I wasn't surprised, because I know Beyonce can make a fucking masterful record. Like Lemonade is a fucking masterful record.
Hello.
But like, this is a very intense experience of a record, and to go like from beginning American Requiem to end Amen, and it just like caps off it's phenomenal. Like, there's not a single song on it I disliked. There are like 11 that I can see myself becoming just obsessed with, and like 5 that I already am like actively obsessed with. And so if you do yourself a favor, listen to the whole thing, make sure and
listen to it as a music lover. I think if that is the space, in general, I think we should always listen to music as a music lover, even if you are a fan. But as a music lover, just close your eyes and listen to the album, and listen to the instruments, listen to the lyrics, listen to the composition, listen to everything about that album, and just feel it, because that's exactly what it is. Like, every song is a feeling, and just goosebumps here and there, and the transitions, and just like, hearing good old Dolly talk about that little hussy with the good hair. And even Linda Martell, who is still alive, by the way, please go look her up. She's 80 something, I think, living in South Carolina, but the amount of exposure that this woman, who was the first Black woman in country music, is getting now is just amazing.
It's really good.
And speaking of Black women that are amazing, can we just talk about how the women's NCAA tournament, all of it, I mean, everybody know about basketball. I would give a quick shout out to the champions, the University of South Carolina Gamecocks, women's national champions for basketball, led by the amazing coach Dawn Staley. Watching the playoff, watching the SEC tournaments, watching the NCAA tournament, watching the WNBA draft, to watch all of these young women get exposure for a talent, and they are good. I don't think people realized how good they were. I do know that, America's darling Caitlin Clark did get a lot of exposure from the University of Iowa, and she earned that. But I also feel like the women from South Carolina deserved a lot more media attention, due to the fact that not only did they win, they were undefeated, y'all. 38-0, and they won a national championship. That is difficult to do with the young team that they had. They only had one person leave their team that got drafted in the WNBA. But 38-0 is insane in college basketball. also going through the tournament and defeating everybody and then winning. And they won in such a beautiful fashion, and led, of course, by Coach Stanley. That's their third national championship for University of South Carolina. But to go undefeated, man, I am a proud basketball person, and I am so proud to see the WNBA draft get it. I think it was like 2.4 million viewers, like all of this exposure for women's sports so many years later. And I think the WNBA has been around since the 1996, something like that. So that was like, that was my Aries season highlight. Y'all could tell.
Oh yeah, and that was an incredible like fuck you moment for women's sports in the best way possible, because people have shat on women's sports for a long time or claimed like, oh, it doesn't get ratings. It was ESPN's highest rated basketball game ever that they have ever shown in the history of them being a network. And like, it had more, the tickets for the Final Four for the women's NCAA tournament sold out like 3 weeks before the men's did. And I might remind you, and Tanae, I think you might have brought this up last month, that this is only the second year that the women's NCAA basketball tournament had the rights to use the March Madness name. That was reserved specifically for the men's team that nobody gave a shit about this year. So, congratulations.
And I was, and honestly, Chris and I were talking about this. Nobody can name a college male player, but I bet you can name 4 or 5 women's college basketball players. Yep. Like that's just like how that goes. And so that was the highlight, let me tell you, of
the like absolute gorgeous slays of those young women during the draft. I'm like, oh, so you're all also supermodels.
They listen, every single one of them, they said, oh, we're not going to play with y'all. Okay. They were just Prada down, Louis down, Cameron, like everybody was just like, oh yeah, we can hoop, but also we look this good too. Like it was just so, it was a beautiful sight to see. And as somebody who's watched basketball from the beginning, when the Detroit Shock had a team, okay,
we need them back
now, but back. Just saying, when they did, okay, if you know, like, but definitely those two celebrating women and Black women, especially Aries season, was lit.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of highlights featuring Black women that we love, my personal Aries season highlight was "Wannabe" by Glorilla and Megan Thee Stallion. Like, that song's existence just brings me joy. I fucking love both of them, and that song slaps so hard. And the fact that they use that, don't save her, she don't want to be saved sample, and I'm just like, it's all perfect. And I formulated this theory, and I brought it to Tanae, that Glow is a Leo, and Megan, of course, we know, is an Aquarius. So they're sister signs, and that axis of Aquarius Leo is that bitch axis. They are those bitches. Aquarians and Leos are those bitches. And meanwhile, their sister, fixed signs of the Taurus Scorpio axis are the not those bitches. They're not those bitches. And we love all of them. But it was just, they were so incredible. And I do think Aquarius and Leo in general is a set of sister signs that can really create magical things together. When they harmonize well and they work together well, they can create just some really cool shit. And that's some incredible energy there. And I hope they make all the coins on their tour, and I'm living for their success.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's, again, that you see all that fixed sign energy that was getting some bullshit last year. This year, all of a sudden, and 2 lovely Tauruses that are about to get some good energy, because I know we have some amazing, very special guests. These are 2 women that are just dear friends to me, and they are birthday twins along with my mom. And so we have two amazing guests. The first one is a painter. I found out, a selling her things painter. I don't know if that means anything, but yeah. And also, she is a realtor, but an amazing realtor. She is a Taurus sun, Leo moon, Gemini rising. Everybody say hey to
Hey,
Sarah.
everybody.
And next we have another lovely Taurus who is creative with cooking and dancing and music. Taurus sun, Aquarius moon, Capricorn rising. We have Becca on the show. So lovely to have you amazing Tauruses here. Thank you so much for agreeing. How are you guys doing? Good?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Taurus season. I'm done with
Yeah,
Aries.
I know you are. We are so excited because the sun did move into Taurus just the other day. So we are officially fully in Taurus season. So guys, for Taurus season, we decided our topic was going to be, because Taurus is ruled by Venus. As you all know, Venus is the sign of luxury and value and pleasure. And so pleasure is our topic for today. And for us, pleasure is a desire, inclination, a state of gratification, a sensual gratification, frivolous amusement, a source of delight or joy, and the feeling that comes when one's wishes are met. All right, so are you guys ready? We are about to start asking some questions, and I am going to pick Becca first because it's my show and I can do what I want. Becca.
Okay, I'm ready tonight.
Okay, first question is, what constitutes a pleasurable environment for you?
I think a kitchen full of my favorite people and the best smells, and maybe me actually cooking and generating some of those wonderful smells that I can share with people that I love.
Okay.
Oh my
Sarah?
gosh.
Ooh, I think for me it's gonna be about the textures of what's around me.
Ooh.
I am all about, it feeling cozy and warm and fun and just comfortable.
Oh my God, you guys are the biggest Tauruses ever. I love this. First off, date, I'm in the kitchen. Okay, all right, love that. Good smells. And then you're over here like, I want to feel cozy.
Yeah,
That
I
is
got a little
perfect.
envious of Sarah's answer. I'm like, no, I want to be cozy too. I'm gonna be cozy
I could
I
be in
will
the
have a
kitchen
hoodie on.
too,
I will have a
but
hoodie on while I'm cooking because I have a obscene hoodie collection.
I think
I love
I've
that.
seen a lot of your hoodies actually.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
incredible.
problem.
Or for me, I can find most environments pleasurable as long as, and now this is real cancer of me, as long as the vibes are good, right? If everybody's like getting along and there's no weird tension, I'm having a good time. And like it doesn't have to be like too much more than that. I guess an ideal for me is like outside, nice weather, maybe a bonfire and good conversation and everybody getting along. But like yeah, you can put me on a, at a drive-in or in my basement or, at a cool spinning restaurant. But like as long as the conversation is flowing and like nobody's, feeling, I don't know, there's no like tension or awkwardness, like I'm usually having a good time. What about you, Tanae? What's a pleasurable environment for you?
I'm such the, I was like listening, I was like, that's cool, that's cool. Really for me, it's all about like massages, foot massages, like warm baths, like
Mm-hmm.
anything that stimulates my like sense of touch. So I'm kind of with Sarah on the, like, I have very soft like blankets, like clothes, like that is very important to me, but definitely any kind of like foot massages, huge fan of those. Or like, yeah, massages, anything like where I can just relax, a bath. But yeah, I like that type of, stimulation.
Love it.
Cassie, you're up.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to pivot, go a little different direction. How do you deal with things that you expected to be pleasurable but are not? Sarah, we'll start with you.
Not very well. Yeah, that one will throw me for a loop and get me in kind of a grumpy space, and usually, heading for somewhere else cozy where I can like go and, like, calm myself.
Mm-hmm. Feel
Mm-hmm.
that. Becca? Oh my God, my dog is here. You're embarrassing me.
Gosh, I'm trying to think of an example.
Come on.
Oh, who's that?
Ziggy's buying you some time. Come on, Ziggy. Go look at the camera. Hello, handsome bean. What are you
Yeah,
doing?
that's what I do. I close my eyes and think about my dog.
Aww. Let me get through this.
You need a cuddle too,
Or like,
then.
oh my
When you
God.
go.
Oh yeah. Or like, if possible, I do something that immediately brings me joy, like coffee or a phone call with someone I trust. Yeah, I think like some sort of immediate pleasurable experience to counteract the letdown.
Mainline, a blankie. I got you.
Mainline blankie.
Tanae, how about you?
Uh, I'm quick to just strategize and exit. I just would rather not be in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it is. I don't think I try to make it more pleasurable. I just realize like this ain't working and I gotta go, and I just leave.
That's probably smart.
But I am very much about my space, and anything that isn't really pleasurable, like I don't really have time for it, so I just it's not it.
Yeah.
Not it.
I in general don't deal well with things not being the way I thought they were going to be. So like I will like really spin my wheels and get really frustrated when things, however it could be, that they go awry and don't go the way I expect them to, and I find it very hard to like just be like, it's okay. Like it's gonna be fine. Like in that moment, I'm really rigid, and it's hard for me to like let go of, okay, this thing isn't meeting the expectation I had for it, and I need to like pivot away from trying to make it the way I thought it was gonna be, because I will do that. My instinct is to do that. Try like, what can I do to correct it and get it on the course it needs to be or whatever. And I'm a bit with you today, where it's like if maybe I've gotten to the point where I realize it's just there's no course correcting. I'm like, where is the door? Like, what can I do to just get out of this situation? And in general, I won't, anymore. I'm middle aged, bro. My time is finite. So if I even suspect it's not going to be a good use of a couple hours, I'm not even signing up. Like, I'm not. Don't invite me. I'm not gonna be there. Like, it's a wrap.
But I'll be there in spirit.
Yeah, that's not really. I'm protecting my spirit by
Right,
not being there.
That's it. Okay, Becca, which of the 5 senses is the most pleasurable?
If you had to guess, which one do you think that would be?
Taste.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. But elaborate.
Okay.
Why is it taste?
Yeah, I think it well, the first thing that comes to mind is very much a tie to my my family, my my upbringing, my culture, my home. It makes me feel connected to certain people, like my dad, like certain flavors, certain like the experience of eating, like memories of family. So it's a gateway to all of those sort of connections to my flake story.
You are such a Taurus.
Aw.
I love it. I love it.
Listen,
I love it. I love it. I'm here for it. Everything you said. Family, food, connection, home. I'm just like, yes, girl, get that comfort and stability. All right, Sarah, what do you say?
For me, it is also about connection, but it is about touch. I am the soft and the cozy and the I want to, I'm very affectionate and I want to be touched. I want to touch other people. So it's all about, soft, cozy textures and just, yeah, a lot of physical touch with my people that I like. Not everybody, but the people that I like.
Short list.
You really like to touch them. I get it.
I do.
I'm with Becca. I'm team taste, man. I love food. I love dessert. I like appetizers. I like breakfast. I like snacks. I like pretty much everything. I like trying new foods. It's always interesting when I travel new places. Like, what do they eat here? What does it look like on the plate? Like, I'm into all of that, and I have a crap hearing and whatever, like eyesight. Taste is one that I feel like real tuned into, and it's same where it conjures up a lot of good memories. My family always ate together at a table, and that's something I do with my kids, and it's really important time for us. And I try not to be like wholly food motivated because that can be problematic. But in general, I very much enjoy my sense of taste. So today, I'm not sure how you're going to answer this.
I
I'm
know.
really curious.
What's today's
Neither-
answer gonna be?
And I'm not
Neither
sure.
am I.
I know. No, she was talking a lot about massage.
Because
That's
you're right. Like I was thinking about
What
it.
about smell? Is
And
anybody gonna say smell?
well, that was that was also like in my thought. But I think out of all of them, I would probably have to agree with Sarah and go with touch. Just because that is a very personal thing for me. And so it's very much like if you're touching me, you are very further along through this boundary I have than most. But taste is like right there because I'm also with Cassie, like what we eating, where we getting food at, what kind of food is it, what can I try? What does this taste like? Where did you make this? Can I make I mean, so it's just those are, but definitely touch would probably be my first one.
Taste is very like right behind touch for me. I mean,
like,
we just got done splitting a meal and going, let's just each get this and share because I can't decide what I want to eat right now.
We did, yes, exactly, perfect. And they were both very different tastes, but they both tasted excellent for what they were.
Yes.
So I'm all that. All right, Cassie.
all right. So,
Ooh, I knew we were about to get there.
what is your guilty pleasure?
Oh.
And why do you feel
Sarah's
guilty
turn
about
first.
it? Oh yeah. Go ahead, Sarah. Sorry, you're getting called out.
Is it coming to me first?
Yep.
Okay. The guilty pleasure. Honestly, it's probably got to be the hot tub for me.
Okay.
That is, it's something I try to do every night. It is one of my favorite places. I just, and I'm usually alone, so it's a nice little like Zen kind of meditation moment, and I sort of like it that way. Like it's fun when the kids join me in the hot tub, but I'll still usually go in again later because I want that me time.
Oh, hell yeah. You shouldn't feel guilty about any
No,
of that unless you're
I don't
breaking
think
into
that's it.
somebody's hot
I
tub.
don't think yeah.
Shit. And even then, as long as you're not leaving it a mess, like, no harm, no foul.
I don't leave it a mess. I got to clean up that mess.
Yeah.
See, there you go. What about you, Becca?
Well, it's gonna be something to eat. And I don't really feel guilty about it either, but it is kind of weird and gross. But I'm gonna say it anyways. I think and I love that like Publix macaroni salad that's like really mayonnaisey. I love that stuff, like the macaroni salad. That's, mayonnaise, I do love mayonnaise. That's my favorite condiment. But like this macaroni salad from Publix, and then you get some
Yes.
potato chips, and you dip the potato chip in the macaroni salad. That
Tell me more.
That got me through grad school in some real like stressful times. Just
Not
eating
you
that
and
macaroni
Cassie
salad with
bonding over
potato chips.
mayonnaise and macaroni salad. I'm here for it. Okay, girl. Well, now I know.
Love that.
Like, now I know. Oh my
Macaroni
gosh.
salad too, Cassie.
Yes. I love it. And I love mayonnaise. I really love
You do?
mayonnaise.
Oh my god.
It is also my favorite condiment. I like it on its own. I like a garlic mayonnaise, a spicy mayonnaise,
Okay,
a
here's
wasabi mayonnaise.
yeah, and here's the thing that has the most connection to me food wise to my family. Tomato sandwiches, obviously, with garden, like fresh tomatoes out of the garden that are like still warm from the sun, and they ripen on the vine, and then maybe you put some American cheese on there, like really soft white bread. I could house like 3 of those when I was a teenager.
Yes. Yes. I want one right now.
Oh, right now. It's coming to that time, thankfully. It's like you can't beat a tomato grown in the South.
So, Rebecca, I've got a question for you. Have you ever had a mayonnaise, peanut butter, and iceberg lettuce sandwich?
I haven't, but I
I'm
will
gonna
try that if you
challenge
recommend
you.
it.
It's one of my favorite sandwiches from childhood.
It's a nice
I
face.
know what y'all are thinking, but just everybody out
You
there.
don't know what I can't say what I'm thinking right now.
All right.
Okay,
But
so
anybody that know,
if
know
you like
what I'm
mayonnaise
I do.
and you like
Wow.
peanut butter, you're gonna be all over it.
Okay, but what's the ratio here? Are we talking like a lot of peanut butter and a little bit of mayonnaise? Are they equal?
I go about equal. Maybe a little bit heavier on the peanut butter.
Okay.
And then the iceberg in between.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Y'all let me know what that tastes like, because I'm not doing it.
Oh,
That's
I forgot what we were even
not
talking about. Guilty pleasures.
We're so distracted.
What is
That's
it?
funny.
No. Somebody in the chat says no. Cool.
It'll surprise you.
Okay.
Okay, well, you know, I think my guilty pleasure would be something silly, like just hordes of chocolate. Honestly. And it's not, but it's probably something food wise. So it would be anything. I have a terrible sweet tooth that I know I should check, but I don't care because I love it. But only like chocolate sweets, not like candy sweets, not like cake sweets, or like yeah, it's chocolate. That is it's always chocolate. I can't even think of. I was trying to think of maybe cheese. No, it's always chocolate. Chocolate is always the ultimate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mine are problematic musicians. Like I love Chris Brown.
Oof,
but
that's a good one.
Like I don't stream him. I don't look up his songs on YouTube and listen to them, even though I desperately want to. But every single time one comes on the radio, I'm like, "Fucking yes!" Like I love him. Like and you know, I'm a big fan of rap music, and there's a lot of problematic. Frankly, there's a lot of problematic characters in all of music. I think rappers are just more honest about it and get found out more often. But like, so yeah, I have to be, I'm mindful of that. I'm not trying to give Chris Brown my money. I know he's a problematic dude, but so many bops, just bops on bops on bops. I'm
It's
sorry, I can't help
it's
that the man
always
is
them.
very talented.
It's
I know.
always them, right? It's always the
Kanye West, so many bops.
like
I know.
I usually
College Dropout was a great album.
so good.
Good ones.
I
808s and
I don't
Heartbreaks
ever
was
skip
great.
a song. If it comes on, I'm like, whoops.
Yeah,
I know.
I have to listen to this.
But then you're just like,
yeah,
you're a human behind that artist.
yeah. With him, I feel fortunate that I've actually, like, previously, before he was problematic, purchased his music. So I'm like, well, I already own this. I already gave him this money. I can listen to this relatively guilt-free, but rough out.
Yeah, that's a really good one, Cassie.
Yeah,
I feel like just problematic celebrities, But I think that's always been a question for music lovers. Can you separate the artist from the art?
Music
And I just feel like
movies and all of the
it's just like,
the
damn,
post-Me
they're
Too
talented,
world.
but why are they a terrible person? I bought R. Kelly. I think we all did. I just didn't want to bring up that guy.
I know.
But
I know.
we grew up in that Fiesta. Anyway.
Yeah. Tell me Remix to Ignition is not still fire. It is, but we're not listening to it anymore. Like,
I believe
can't
I Can Fly was still an inspiration. Anyway, on to something more fun. Dun, dun, dun. We are going to play a Taurus game called This or That. We are just going to give you one thing or another. You tell us which one. You can't pick both. You got to only pick one. Okay. Here we go. Start off. Sarah. Because again, I can. Would you rather give or receive pleasure?
Give.
Okay. Becca.
Give.
Cassie.
Oh, we're answering too? Receive. I like both.
Yes. Okay. Right.
Well, aren't you all just altruistic?
It'd be like that. Okay. Next one. Okay. Becky, you got to go first this time. Next one. Instant gratification or slow build?
Slow build.
Sarah.
Slow build.
Cassie.
I agree. I'm going slow build here.
Okay, we are 4 for 4. Slow build over here too. Okay, great. All right, last one. Sensual pleasure or sexual pleasure? Sarah.
Aren't they kind of one and the same?
No.
I think I would argue you could have both without the other. I think it's harder to have sexual pleasure without sensual pleasure. But I do think there's a variety of ways you can get sensual pleasure.
Yeah.
That would be my argument.
Because it doesn't have to necessarily be like intimacy. It could be from other things like food. So, back to you, Sarah.
Sensual.
Okay. Becca.
Sexual.
Cassie.
I think sexual too.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to be honest and say sexual at the same time too. Even though sensual is really important at the end of the day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Shout out to one of our also Taurus guests, the Chelsea verse. It says, "Aren't they one and the same?" Is such a Taurus answer. She is also a Taurus. Happy early birthday!
Yes, Chelsea.
We thank you both so much for bearing your pleasurable souls with us today. And this is the point in the show where we get you to talk about yourselves and promote and tell the people how they find you if you want them to or if you don't. Becca, what do you want to say? What do you want to promote?
I want to say thank you for having me.
Our pleasure, truly.
It's been really fun. Find me in Summer Hill at the brewery at Halfway Crux, probably at the counter. Come meet me there
Summerhill.
for a drink.
All right. She said Summerhill at the brewery. What was it called?
Halfway Crux.
Halfway Crooked?
Crooks. In the
Crooks,
beer
Halfway
garden. I'm
Crooks.
just saying that's
Ain't
where
no
you
such
can find me.
thing as halfway crooks. Come on now.
It's true.
That is, if you are in the Peace Up, A-Town Down area, that is where you can find Becca.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah, what would you like to tell people about you and find you?
You can find me pretty much all over Atlanta, helping people buy, sell, and invest in real estate because I am a realtor. And I also like going to Halfway Crooks with Rebecca and eating the French fries because
Yeah.
they are amazing.
Had some of those tonight.
So yeah, they've got some good French fries there.
So I guess
With
that's our new
mayo.
next group outing.
With mayo, yes.
Yes.
Y'all in
Dukes
this
or
mayo.
Hellmann's? Dukes or Hellmann's? Say Miracle Whip.
I'm from the Midwest, so we do Hellmann's. But I personally like both. I'm not too.
She
What?
said, don't say Miracle Whip. If this ain't WPS, do you work on Sundays, Becca?
Work on Sundays. Oh, I don't actually work at the Halfway Crooks. I just like to go there and drink beer. If that's what you mean.
That's
Yes.
excellent.
She's just saying that's where you can come find
Yeah,
her in
come
the
find
wild.
me.
You're hanging out.
I'll be hanging
Yeah.
out. I
And
love that.
if you want a house, please contact Sarah Perman. She will do it for you. I guarantee it. She's a Taurus. They love money, so they're gonna make it happen. Once again, thank you guys so much. I'm going to boot
Thank
you
you
out,
both.
but we appreciate y'all, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great
Thank you.
Taurus season, and happy early birthday to both of you.
Yes. It's going to be a good one for all the Tauruses. There's a lot of good energy for all the Tauruses coming up this season, and we're going to talk all about it.
Oh my God, that was too funny. Too funny. So, Cassie.
Yes.
We have slowly moved into Taurus season. Not slowly. I mean, Aries season kind of really flew by. So,
Yeah.
Taurus season, the sun went into Taurus on 4/19. And then the full moon eclipse this week is real active. This weekend, next week is super active. We have the full moon eclipse in Scorpio on the 23rd. Mercury finally leaves its retrograde and will station direct in Aries on 4/25. Venus will move into its home sign of Taurus on 4/29. Mars will move into its home sign of Aries on 4/30. Pluto, lovely old Pluto. Y'all know Pluto. It's been hanging out in Aquarius. I've been appreciating it. It is time for it to retrograde. And this is one of the last retrogrades we have within this Capricorn Aquarius cycle. As we have all seen, this has been quite the transformation for all of us from last year when Pluto initially stepped into Aquarius, went back to Capricorn, came back into Aquarius. This retrograde will happen from the 2nd all the way until the 2nd of May, all the way to the 11th of October. So this is going to be quite the retrograde cycle. It'll be really interesting to see all of the things, I think government-wise, I feel like in larger patriarchal wise that will be again exposed, upheavals, all of that, for it to go direct on the 10th, on the 11th in October, and then back in Aquarius in November, and then it'll stay. So we'll enjoy that. Neptune and Saturn are still hanging out in Pisces. Jupiter and Uranus are in Taurus. We have a new moon in Taurus on May 7th, and the Mercury will be in Taurus on May 15th. Cassie, tell me about this solar eclipse in Scorpio coming up.
This lunar eclipse in Scorpio, as it is. Yeah, so as you mentioned, it's on the 23rd. 23rd, 25th is unretrograde for Mercury. So Tuesday, we have the last of the Taurus Scorpio eclipses for like 20 years till the North Node comes back around to Taurus. But so this energy that's coming up alongside this Scorpio full moon eclipse on Tuesday will, and I think, pay attention in your life in the days surrounding this eclipse and this week, and think about where you were at in November of 2021, because that's when the first eclipse in this series happened. And now they've been intermixed with some of the Aries Libra eclipses and some of the Gemini Sag eclipses that were happening before that. But as a rule with eclipse cycles, they connect from the first to the last. And so, Tanae and I were talking about this because we conceived this project around that first eclipse of the series. And, will we have revelations or something related to that? I don't know. But of course, we both had stuff going on in our personal lives at that time too. And Taurus Scorpio axis really deals with your material and like kind of grounded self versus your psychic, transformational, and deeply seated spiritual self. And so, kind of examining the way those forces are at play and how you have transformed in the past 3 years or so, 2.5 years, is really useful. And of course, full moons in general are a good time to release stuff. And when eclipses happen, some witches use full moons to do big magic. Sometimes it's a good time to manifest. This one especially, I think, is really a good time to focus on releasing. Like, really make a list in your head of who, or start thinking about, who was I 2.5 years ago? Who am I now? How is that? How do I still want to shift that a little bit more to make myself feel fully secure and fully realized? What can I release to help that happen? I think that's the best use of this energy. And Scorpio is a big emotional sign, right? The emotions are not at the surface. We're talking deep seated stuff. And so, expect some shit to come up, really. Like, you might just be stuck in your feelings a little bit, and that's okay. If what you need to do is like watch a sad movie and cry, do that. Anything to just let it out.
And with Scorpio, it is about death, transformation, and rebirth. And like, as Cassie said, when you're releasing, like, it's releasing to dead it. It's not releasing to bring it back up again. This is like a release to like bury it for good. And that is something that, I think also with eclipses, and especially full moon eclipses, some of that stuff happens. And we've said this before, if you haven't really prepared for it, or you're not like willing, the universe will just make it happen for you. So I encourage you to surrender to what needs to be released and let go, because it's a lot easier than being, it being ripped away. And then that feels terrible. But sometimes, we got lessons to learn, and they ain't got to be hard ones, but sometimes they are. And that's what Scorpio teaches us. But after Aries season, I feel like just let it happen. Just let it happen.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, we just had on yesterday evening the Uranus and Jupiter conjunction, which was a really big planetary alignment for us. This is probably the first one for Taurus in our actual generation. The last one was in 1941 during the peak of World War II, which, if we look at where the world was then and where we are now, and some of the similarities, a lot of what I learned on my research is, one, this Uranus and Jupiter conjunction in general happens every 14 years, but it doesn't always happen in the same sign. So again, the last time that it happened in the sign of Taurus was 1941, the peak of World War II, when women went into the workforce because the men were what? Out there killing and in war. There were unions, equal rights. There were Black women in the workforce now. Um, Equal pay was thought about. So there was a lot going on within just the structures of America, the workforce. And of course, Taurus, we talked about, rules the second house and its material. And again, we noticed that in the beginning of the Jupiter transit of Taurus, we saw the writer strike. We are seeing, equal pay again. We are seeing with Uranus on top of that, technology, the AI transformation, social protests, strikes, upheavals, all of those things that those two combined. Jupiter is expansion, Uranus is unpredictability and surprise. And so together, it is great, great positive change that is unpredictably forced to happen.
Yeah.
And, I think that without a little struggle, we wouldn't have the change that we needed to have. And we have to kind of be honest. I think that's one thing about Uranus is it's like the unpredictability of it is quite shockingly honest, and it allows us to expose all of those things that we don't really talk about. And I think a lot of us, being vocal about what's going on in Palestine and other countries, Sudan, and just even watching Mexico deport Americans. I mean, it's like,
We
you know what I'm saying?
love
Like,
to see it.
there's so much going on globally that we can't be kind of we can't hide anymore. We can't be like we can't pretend like we don't see it. It's there, and it is changing our life, and especially with just inflation and the protests, Cop City. I mean, there's so much that has just happened within the past year and a half of watching the people kind of stand up for themselves.
It's fascinating to think of it in connection with the last time being in 1941, because of course, like, that was the precipice of this world war, which was awful and caused a massive amount of devastation. But out of that world war was also born, like, some of the best social, like all the social programs we have here in the US, pretty much Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, the GI Bill. Now we can dive into the racist history of those programs at a later date. But the US didn't have that stuff before World War II. And it was also, as you mentioned, this glimpse for women into, like, this is what it could be like in the workforce. And then when all the men came back, it wasn't too long before the women were like, well, fuck this. I don't want to go back to be, my only choice is being at home. Like, no, you showed me I could build airplanes. Like,
And I will.
Yeah.
And I will.
And, it's really obvious, but sometimes it's hard to remember that, like, we just don't know the implications of the time we're in. And we can only continue to move in ways that align with our true selves, that, feel like we are being true to our highest purpose. And I read some internet quote, and I'm sorry I don't know the author of it, but it's really made me think since I read it. It was like, too many people are focused on being a good descendant and not a good ancestor.
Ooh.
And I try to think about that a lot. Like, how will the moves I make now look to my kids, kids?
Yeah.
And what can I do to make sure I'm being a good ancestor?
Yeah. Because we're past being good descendant. Like, we're past that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, no, the more honorable of them, I'm sure, are fine with it. And then a lot of them are like, bitch, what?
I'm just saying, I don't know about y'all, but yours. I mean, I'm just saying it's a difference, but I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree that, like, we do have to be better ancestors, because like you said earlier, there's only a finite time we have left. And what are we doing with that? How are we changing it for the better for your children and hopefully their children,
right.
if it's around long enough? And I know. And I am very much looking forward to the rest of all of these transits, especially Pluto and Aquarius.
Yeah.
Because I think the revolution has just begun.
Yeah, I think going along with that is that like we are at the beginning of what is happening, and so it's hard to envision. So I think we're in a moment where it's hard to envision like positive outcomes because there's just so much destruction and so many powerful people trying to hold on to the old way of doing things, but the earth it's just not going to let it happen. It's untenable. So something's going to be different, and we all have to be there to try and shape that different thing into something positive. But
adapt or die.
Right. Overall for this Taurus season, zooming into it, I feel like it's pretty good. Like we get Mercury stationing direct, we get this lovely Venus and Taurus placement to give some nice happy vibes. And even like, I'm not even mad at Mars being in Aries. Mars being in Pisces is a messy place for Mars to be.
Clearly. During Aries season, we just proved that. Exactly.
Right. Like everything that, maybe sparks a bit of anger doesn't have to spark a whole bunch of feelings along with it, like happened in Aries season. And so I think those of us who felt Aries season was chaotic are in for a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
And that'll be nice.
So, after this full moon, use the Taurus new moon to pamper the fuck out of yourself.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's what I say. Pamper the fuck out of yourself.
Yeah.
Use all of those, how we talked about, all the touching, the taste, smell, whatever. Use your senses to enjoy Taurus season. That would be my advice for that, because why not?
And I think this new moon in Taurus is going to be a really good one for intention setting. It's going to be a really good one to work with because it's aided and abetted by Venus in Taurus, and like and Uranus and Jupiter are still going to be in Taurus. Like you can work with all of this Taurus energy together in one spot without Mercury being in retrograde. And I mean, Pluto will have just gone retrograde, but
it'll be okay because Uranus and Jupiter will still be direct, because I think in a month or so after this, they will go. So I think you're absolutely correct. This is the one to get out, touch the ground, really do what Tauruses do and plant those seeds for long-term stability.
Absolutely.
So here's our fun part. We are gonna do our Taurus celebrity check-ins, because I had so many to pick from. I know you did too, Cassie.
Yes.
And I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get the obvious one out of the way. Our queen, the queen of our world, Janet Jackson, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, is the epitome of just Taurian Venetian beauty and grace, and just like she's a lot of Taurus celebrities I noticed are it seems like less provocative for being the sake of being a provocateur. Like there are some, of course, you can find them everywhere, but like she just seems, she's always come off as like very kind of demure, but like about her business at the same time. And I got to see her in concert last year. That's where I got this shirt, and it was so good. And I might get to come see her again this year, and I'm really excited about it. And this amazing woman is in her 50s and still up there doing choreography, crushing vocals, having like a good time on stage. And she's phenomenal. If you haven't already had the chance to see her, do it. She was a bucket list artist for me. I'm so glad I went. And I love Janet Jackson. I know you do too. So what's not to love?
That's how I knew I was gay. I mean, along with other things, but she's definitely forever and for always will ever be a reminder, like, bitch, you gay. Just saying. So mine is also a singer. And we shouted this person out a couple months ago, but because it's Taurus season and she can sing whatever she wants to me because she be hitting them dance moves, them outfits. She is a 3-time Grammy-winning artist, and she has songwritten for some people that you actually love. But she's been in the game for about 15 years and just got her flowers. She's a mom to a lovely little child. I think her daughter's like 3 or 4. But we talk about Victoria Monet. Okay.
So good.
That's all I have to say. Like, she gives off very epitome. She gives me younger Janet vibes, honestly. Like, with the just the demure but yet dance moves, the singing, this the nature of like how she performs, but she's also very much herself. If you hear her voice, it's very like higher pitched, I think, just like Janet's is a little bit, and very like sweet. And it took her a long time to get her flowers. I mean, she's been writing and doing things for a lot of people for a long time. So I was very happy to see her win, especially Best New Artist for the Grammys this past year.
Yeah, you put me on to Victoria Monet, First of My Friends, and like every song I heard, I was like, I love this. Oh, yeah, this is her again. I fucking love this.
Yeah.
Like, she's great. She's written for your fave, and which I love. A Taurus, a Taurus is gonna get that money, and a Taurus is like, out of our two Venus ruled signs, Taurus and Libra, the one that needs the spotlight less. I won't say they don't like it. I think that many of them do.
They don't,
but they don't
need
need it.
Yeah.
They don't need to hear the applause for them if they can be behind the scenes making it happen, being successful, achieving. But like, I love for her that she gets both, she gets the flowers, she gets to be front facing, front and center, but also is getting the back end on all of these major tracks from other artists, because she's an incredible songwriter too.
That's the gag. Like, if you can do that, you can do anything.
That's right.
All right, who you got next?
So I'm realizing mine are all vocalists this time around, which like is very imperfect for Taurus. I mean, rapper and vocalist. But so my next one is Kelly Clarkson, who I fucking love. I have loved her since American Idol. Bobby Vernier and I, shout out to Bobby, watched the whole first season of American Idol in my living room when we were seniors in high school, and we loved Kelly. And then when her album dropped, we were obsessed with it. And I know every song from her first record, like, by memory still. And I enjoy this part of her journey where she's a talk show host. I think she's good at that. I think I've seen her interview people. She's personable. She gives them space to speak. And she'll be honest when she's like, I didn't know that. You just like taught me something new. And, she seems like a good person. Like, maybe it's all an act. It could be, but like, yeah, exactly. Breakaway, bitch. And you can't touch Breakaway. Yeah, like I hope she is as cool as she seems, because she seems very cool, and I wish her good things.
Yes,
she seems to be
and
good,
I'm glad
good things out.
I'm glad she's giving it back to her ex-husband, because he whatever. But side note, she's Reba McEntire's daughter-in-law based on that. Like,
oh, weird. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. But I totally agree. She is the American Idol. Let's just say that. Like, I mean, I know they've done like 35 seasons, but she's the American Idol. And I love her show, especially with her karaoke that she does, or karaoke, because she has literally covered everybody's song. And some people, Katy Perry was like, I'm not gonna sing that song no more. Like, because she's singing. And I was like, damn. I mean, that girl can sing, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Kelly Clarkson can sing, okay? What she could sing the back of a toilet paper wrapper and would still kill it.
I'd buy the single. I would pay $1.29 for it on iTunes. I would.
Okay, building up to my last one, but this one is an athlete, and she is a young college athlete that is now a WNBA professional player. But she has won an All-American award. She is an NCAA champion from last year. She is SEC player from last year. She was a first-round draft pick for the Chicago Sky, formerly known as the Bayou Barbie, entering the draft, letting people know, just like a Taurus does in Vogue magazine. I am talking about the Angel Reese from the Louisiana LSU. They did win the championship last year. And because of Angel Reese, I don't care what nobody says, I'm going to say this, and I agree with what other people have said. Because of Angel Reese, women's college basketball became popular. People were aware because of the beef that was caused and them making her a villain, even though she won and she wasn't a villain. She's just a competitive person. Angel Reese, girl, do it up in Chicago. You and Camila Cardosa, it's about to be problems in Chicago for these folks. Like they not coming to Chicago to play. Angel Reese can block. She can shoot. That girl is rebound. Try and get a rebound. She reminds me of Dennis Rodman. You know how Dennis Rodman couldn't nobody get rebounds on him? That's her. That's her. Girl's up there. Okay. But congratulations to Angel Reese and all of the women that did make it in the WNBA draft and were selected. She is so fashionable. Her outfit, she had a custom diamond gold grill too. She has all these NIL deals. Like she is doing exactly what she should do. She said, I think one of the things she said in Vogue, she's like, I've won a championship. She said, I want to be a rookie again. I want to start all over. I want to go from the beginning. And so I'm so excited to watch her WNBA career. But Angel Reese.
Hell yeah. It was really nice, that clip that went viral of her teammate speaking about her to the press after they lost to. So did they lose to USC in the champion, or no, they lost in the Final Four?
They lost to Iowa this year.
Oh.
After they had beat Iowa last. Or no. Did they lose to USC? Because Iowa beat Connecticut to go to the finals. LSU, they may have lost to USC.
Okay.
No, but I can't even think of who they lost to. Damn.
It's okay. It was a really lovely moment, and it was just, a reminder that the press will do what the press is going to do, because it is in their best interest to make everything into a story and create a hero and a villain, and like they need people to plug into these tropes. And of course it's always going to be harder for Black men and women to be the heroes in the eyes of our American media, because this is America, and America be racisting and whenever it can. But she played like she didn't give a fuck if she was anyone's hero or villain, and that is Taurus shit.
Absolutely. I believe, okay, so I did the math in my head. LSU lost to Iowa, I believe, in the Elite Eight to get to the final. Okay. Iowa got to the Final Four against Connecticut, and South Carolina played the University of Texas, I believe. That was the Final Four.
Got it. Okay.
But last year in the national championship game, it was Iowa versus LSU, and LSU did win. And so that was the beginning, because, Angel Reese did like, give me my ring. And then everybody thought it was so unsportsmanlike, even though the player on the other team is competitive. Like, why can't women athletes be competitive?
Why can't women athletes talk shit? I mean, if that were the standard for a male athlete to be told he was unsportsmanlike, that no male athlete would be sportsmanlike, because we all remember Taylor Swift's boyfriend just yelling in his coach's face, right? Like, you know what I mean?
No, but he's white.
Get
girl.
fucking real.
He's white
and a man.
Okay.
So there you go. He's got all the free passes. Anyway,
all right. Who's
Angel Reese? We love to see it. Okay, my last Taurus celeb is a pansexual queen rapper by the name of Baby Tate. If you're a longtime listener of the show, I love lady rappers. It's my favorite. I love a lady rapper. I really enjoy Baby Tate. Her mom is Diane Ferris.
Dion Ferris.
Dion Ferris. I'm sorry. Who is also is a singer and had a charting single, I Know, in the 90s, and then I think a couple others, one with a group and then another one on her own that didn't like quite go as high on the charts or whatever. But you know, Baby Tate just makes fun music. She's a really good rapper. I saw a thing she did recently where she dropped a song, was like, who's gonna be on the remix, and like put it out to TikTok, and then actually pulled like really unknown rappers who made these great verses and was like, all right, y'all vote on these like 4. And I went and looked at these, because I'm like, I'm gonna be a little bit of a stalker, like let's go see it. And like, these people who only had like a few thousand followers, and were really able to like kind of blow up because they got a cosign from an artist who's doing, making moves. And I really enjoy her music. If you've never listened, go take a listen to I Am, or Grip is her new single. And she's really fun. And I love that it's a weird time to be alive, because on the one hand, we're going backwards, like in many ways, legally and in the actual sort of abiding regulations of this country, but also we haven't stopped going forward culturally in many ways. And it's nice to see women of color, men of color get to be gay and queer and pan and bi and poly and whatever else, and white people too, all people, especially in rap, where like it's not always been acceptable in any way, shape, or form to be anything other than heteronormative. So I love to see that she's openly queer, and I think that's really cool.
It's been weaponized in the rap community, honestly, and we already know where that's coming from. But anyways, I don't want to talk about that. No, I'm here for that. I am here for Baby Tate. I did once we talked about it. I went and looked at her. I was like, okay, I like this cute, and she's young. So is Angel. I mean, she's like 23, 24, something like that, like young, And yes, that's young. Okay.
Yeah. And if you don't think so, then you're young.
Right,
okay?
right.
Then you're young too.
Exactly. And nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's impressive, honestly, because it takes some people a long time to get to achievements of that and to be known, especially in, the industry, if they don't have a gimmick or if they're not like packageable or something like that. So good on her. Well, y'all should already know who I'm going to talk about. I did talk about this person last time, but I'm going to give her props because I didn't realize how much this person really, really changed my perception of basketball, how much I loved basketball. I have followed their entire career. I was around when they were in college playing basketball and continued to watch them in the Olympics as a player, as a coach. I watched them coach other college teams. And of course, this year, the team that they coached won the championship in the women's final. None other than the absolute Philadelphia's finest, Dawn Staley. This is, of course, a Taurus. We should know, as determined as that one is to win a championship and do it with style and grace and praise God and Jesus when she wanted to. And when I say the outfits,
Louis Vuitton Dawn, yo.
The outfits. Dawn kept it every game. It was like, what's she gonna wear? And every outfit, it smashed. She hit it every time. Y'all was like, damn, where you get that from? Exclusive. She also, okay, so just some of her accolades, right? When she played for the University of Virginia in college basketball, she led her team to 3 Final Fours and 1 national title game. She did not win, but it didn't matter. She was still a top dog player. She played on the women's USA Olympic team, I believe in 96 and 2000. And then she coached again in 2008. on the Olympics team. She coached at Temple for 8 years. And then she recently went over to the University of South Carolina. She has lots of gold medals. I believe she will be also this year's coach or assistant coach for the women's Olympic team. I think she's doing that, of course, because she just won a championship.
Better be.
Coach. Right. And of course, her South Carolina women's team did go undefeated again this year, as I spoke of earlier, 38-0 and winning the championship. And she only lost one player. She has an amazing group of freshmen who are now about to be sophomores. Her team is going to be the dynasty. She is building a fantastic program there. And the best part about her program is that it is a team-oriented program. She tells the players, if you want to come here and get 25 points and all this playing, it's not for you. This is a team effort. And one of the reasons I believe that she and her team won is because she has depth. She has 2 starting 5s on her team. So she has a regular starting 5 and then a bench starting 5. And nobody got tired. And I think that was the difference in a lot of the games, is that most of her players played about 20-ish minutes here and there, maybe 25. It just depended. But nobody ever got winded. Everybody had fresh legs, as in comparison to some other teams, which really could only go with their starting 5 that had to play the entire 40 minutes. And that's a long time to play basketball. If you ain't never played basketball, that's a long time, okay? But Dawn Staley, nobody has anything. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about this woman. They have said the best things. Recently, a reporter tried to get a gotcha moment and asked her about trans people in sports. And of course, she just said, if a woman wants to play sports, she should play sports. And so I want to continue to uplift this woman because she needs to go down in basketball's History Hall of Fame. She is an amazing individual, amazing human. She partnered with AFLAC and helps pediatric children, I think, with cancer and sickle cell or something. So she is just like one of those humans that we are so blessed to be able to experience in this lifetime. So shout out Dawn Staley. Thank you, ma'am, for everything that you've done for women's college basketball and women's basketball. And you're the reason the WNBA is here. Just saying. She was on the Charlotte Sting. Like, I'm just saying, this lady, she is just, ma'am. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so who's our question from?
So we had not one, but 2 youths on the TikTok who have the same big 3, and we decided to give them a heads up what they might expect this Taurus season. So to JB and Nethmoose, which I can only assume is not their real name. I think their icon was also a moose, so I think it's a moose reference of some kind. They are both Aquarius suns, no, Taurus suns, Aquarius moons, and Cancer risings. You should be able to speak very well to this combination. But what do you think? I have some thoughts, but I want to hear what you think.
Okay, so immediately my mind goes to how their chart is set up, right? And their moon is going to be in the 8th house, and their sun is in the 11th house. And I find that like, I feel like these 2 people for the past couple of years have had to contend with their feelings within a group and their own private feelings, and feeling like nobody understands them emotionally. I like this balance. I think it's actually a pretty good combination because even though Aquarius moon is a little more detached, because Taurus and Cancer are such feeling signs, it gives this person not necessarily an overwhelming sense of emotion, but I would encourage them to really dig deep into their emotions because they have their moon in the 8th house, and I know that their feelings are deeper than anyone could ever imagine. But I think that this person is about to have an amazing these people are about to have an amazing year. All of the signs and all of the turmoil that they've gone through in the past 2 years with the nodes being in Taurus and Scorpio, which did also kind of affect that Aquarius axis as well. I think that whatever changes, whatever things left their lives, whatever terrible, I don't want to say terrible, whatever things that were extremely challenging to them, to their mental state, to their emotional state, it will all tend to work itself out now. They will probably find more luck. I think they are going to be in a much better mood to manifest. I think that this Taurus season for them is going to be really exciting and something that they're really looking forward to. I would encourage them to truly celebrate the fuck out of themselves this entire Taurus season. I mean, like, however they want to, and not how other people feel that they should. It is definitely should be definitely about them, and really dive into what they want and their heart's desires. I feel like they could just achieve anything at this point because they've gone through all that. You've gone through all that. And now is the time for you to really, as hard as it is for Tauruses, to move forward.
Yeah.
In a way that doesn't make you feel stuck anymore.
Yeah. I agree with all of that. And the thing I immediately thought of was like, ooh, they must have been going through it for the past couple of years. Like, since November 2021, when the eclipses started happening in Taurus and Scorpio. And of course, like, without looking at either of these people's full birth charts, it's hard to know the extent to which it may have been affecting them individually. But like, just knowing the big three, that's enough. And to know also during that whole time has been this end of Pluto in Capricorn, which is opposing their rising sign of Cancer. And so, first of all, I 100% agree they should celebrate and enjoy this Taurus season and really work with this new moon in Taurus. This is going to be a really, really, really good time for you guys, because there's two of y'all, for you both. Imagine what the future you want. Imagine to really put pen to paper of like, these are the things that I want to achieve. This is what I want to manifest. And like, don't limit yourself based on Taurus's maybe fatal flaw as a sign is being too down to earth. And so allow that Aquarius expansive weird moon side to wander and to think, how can I push the boundaries of what I've thought was possible for me and make it match like what my dream is? Because I think Taurus is that sign that like looks at their dream and is like, there's no way, there's too many. They're skeptical of their own dreams because they want a practical path forward. And sometimes your dreams don't seem very practical because they're fucking dreams. They don't have to be. And Tauruses would do well to let some of that go, I think. But having that Aquarius moon, I think, gives them a little bit of that. And even Cancer rising, we're unpredictable. We're just delusional enough to think we can get away with some crazy shit. You know what I mean?
I do.
So really work with that Taurus new moon energy and do it in a place that does make you feel grounded, but allow your heart and spirit to be lifted and wander and roam. I will flag that I think that last Pluto retrograde into Capricorn period is going to be tough. It's for all of us who have a lot of cardinal sign energy. It's been a really intense bit. But once it's out, it's like,
and yeah, and for both of them, that Capricorn is in the 7th house. So just, those relationships, it may come back around just as a reminder of like what you thought you wanted and what you actually do need and want. And it's okay. I think Cass and I both will agree. I promise you, everything is really okay. Like, you've really gotten through the thick of the bullshit.
So. And you're now equipped to face whatever that last, challenge may be with a lot of resilience and strategy and experience, because now you've experienced going through some bullshit.
I was about to say, yes, you're starting from a knowledge-based place where you didn't before, and all the lessons that you learned. So thank you guys for letting us talk about you.
Yeah, we'll take
and we'll see what you have
later.
to say. So to sum it all up before we get to, of course, the best part of the show, we just want to thank you guys so much for joining us for Taurus season. And in honor of this lovely Venusian energy, we are, of course, are looking at the Divine Feminine by the lovely Megan Watterson. I do love these cards, love these cards. They have all of these women goddesses and deities on here that have great stories, and then as well as great lessons as to why these women were chosen. So you know what to do, Cassie.
Oh, yes. I need to decide when. Go for it.
All right, here we go. I love it. Okay, we have Queen Esther, the morning star. My ego is in service of my soul, and I trust my soul's divine timing.
Ooh, okay. All right.
All right.
I love that idea of your ego being in service to your soul as we're going through this Aries Libra node.
Hello.
Yes.
All right. All right. Who she is. Esther represents the powerful combination of the feminine intuition and divine timing. Esther was a Hebrew orphan born with the name Hadassah. Raised by her cousin Mordecai, she lived with the Jewish community in exile in Persia during the 5th century BCE. Mordecai became aware of a plot against the Jewish people created by the king's chief minister, Haman. Using her brilliance and her intuition, Esther came up with a plan to save her cousin and her people. Her beauty caught the attention of the king. So when his current wife, Vashti, refused to come to him when called, Esther seized the moment and the king chose her to be his wife. Then Esther didn't wait for the king to call her. She prepared a large banquet and then called for him. Once he was fully in love with her, she revealed that she was a Jew and that Haman had plotted to kill her people. The book of Esther in the Tanakh, or the Hebrew scriptures, is known as the scroll or the Megillah, and it is read twice out loud, once in the morning and once in the evening, during the festival of Purim to celebrate the memory of Esther's brave actions. Her name derived from the word meaning bright star or morning or an evening star. This is a name she grew into when she courageously trusted her to intuition and used its divine timing to save herself and her people. When your soul selects her card, the ego has a timetable that the soul couldn't care less about. When we are feeling stressed or threatened in some way, fear can be exceptionally loud and can inform the ego to work overtime in trying to get something accomplished or to manipulate something to happen. The natural flow of energy that's always at work behind the scenes, the universe's capacity to assist us, then gets blocked. When we are in service of love, we are following the dictates of our soul. And when the ego is in service of our soul, and when the ego is in service of the soul, divine timing ensues. Esther mastered this art even under extreme duress. She listened wisely to her soul. She became a queen by letting her love for her people inform her feminine intuitive powers. This is her imperative. Trust that everything is aligning in divine timing. Trust your soul voice. Soul meditation. What do I intuitively know will happen in divine timing for me? The intention. My ego is in service of my soul, and I trust my soul's divine timing. Girl, if that ain't a Taurus right there.
Right. When she prepared the banquet, I was done. I was like, yep, okay,
You don't need to call for me. I got this. Come on, baby.
Yeah.
Fall
Smell
in
the
love.
smells.
Get it, Esther girl. We love you for that. Well, again, Mom, this was for you. I know you're watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Cassie, once again, my friend, this has always been amazing. Becca and Sarah, thank you again.
Thank you.
Happy solar return to all of the Taurus people that Cassie and I know, because I think combined we know almost all of them.
180 at least.
So shout out to every single Taurus. I hope you guys have an amazing Taurus season.
Autumn, or no, Aspen. I don't know.
We got
Jacob.
Chelsea. All of you lovely people, we thank you so much. And we'll see you next time for Gemini season. Same place, probably different time. Cassie, I love you, girl. I wouldn't want to do this without you. Everybody else, as always, it's all love, y'all. We out of here. Peace.